Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's NBA Sharp Betting Breakdown here on the Advantage Sports Betting Podcast. I am your host, Michael Fiddle. Today is Wednesday, May 28th. We are going to review 5 basketball games that we have in store, and through 5 of them, I only have one bet. So should be kind of a quick moving show. I have a bunch of spots that I'm looking to bet. I have a bunch of spots that I'm monitoring the market for. Of course, we will review every side and total through both the NBA and the WNBA and everything that is currently priced. If you have a question, feel free to drop it in the comments. I will review where the market has moved, where my best bets are, what I think is currently actionable, and on this one, what spots I am looking for and maybe what I am looking towards. Let me share the FanDuel odds screen as we go through this slate. We see if the Oklahoma City Thunder can punch their ticket to the NBA Finals. That's where we're going to start. We share the FanDuel odds screen simply because it is a blue background and simply because that matches the rest of our beautiful studio and screen. But of course, if there are better odds somewhere, we'll happily point them out. We are looking here at an Oklahoma City Thunder minus 8.5, minus 106. Here, a total at 220.5. Now, I want to first talk about the total because we've seen 8.5, or I'd say a soft 8.5 right now, pretty often throughout the series. It's pretty much been the standard number when in OKC. I mean, some games at 7.5. Game 1 even closed at 7, surprisingly. We've even seen 9 start to show up in game 5. So we have 8.5 here, or 8 in game 2, believe. Yeah, sorry, I'm super confused. 220.5 is the highest total we've seen in this series on any game. And so I know games 2, 3, and 4 went towards the over. I know they've all moved towards the over. I mean, game 1 opened as low as 212.5 and closed up at 219 and went under. Game 3 opened at 213, closed up at 217 and went over. The rest of the games have been taking a little bit of oversteam and cashing that way. Here we have a total at 220.5. That is a very high number for not only this series, but this stage in the NBA playoffs and getting to a point where these teams know each other. This is game 5 of this series. The defensive assignments are a little bit more understood, and yet we have 221.5 popping up. So I'd say let this over climb, but I could only look directionally towards the under here, playing this at game 5 at the highest number we've ever seen. That's a very rare occurrence in an NBA playoff series. So I could only look towards the under. But again, why don't I have any bets right now? Because seemingly this has only been headed towards the over. So I will let this number push out as far as it possibly goes and then maybe consider some under exposure. Maybe. I don't know if I end up taking the bite. OKC on the money line and against the spreads are also spots worth considering on this card. Like I said, last time we played in OKC, sorry, I got the games confused. It was game 2. This number got pushed out to like 9 right before tip. And so something that I've consistently said is a lot of late Oklahoma City clicks. We saw it in one of the games in Minnesota as well. So I'm expecting that to come in again in a potential closeout environment. And if you look to how Minnesota has managed to stay in these games, they are shooting lights out. Like, they are shooting a ridiculous percentage from 3 the last 2 games on high volume. Look back towards game 1 where they shot 51 attempts and scored 88 total points. On the road, the role players probably don't shoot as well. That DiVincenzo corner 3, that Nickeil Alexander-Walker pump fake, go under the blow-by defender and then pull up. Like, I don't expect those to be dropping with the same consistency. I don't expect Terrence Shannon to have a 9 points in 3-minute spurt in a road game. So for those reasons, I would look towards OKC. I would look towards a money line even. I would look towards an under once it reaches a resistance point, but not a single bet placed for me on this game. Peasy says, are we back to a regular schedule at 10 a.m.? Every time I do a show, it will definitely be at 10 a.m. I mean, maybe we change things a little bit over the summer for the offseason, but throughout the NBA/WNBA merging schedule, it is going to be a not regular and kind of wonky schedule. Now, I think we're going to do a show on Friday regardless, because hopefully the series might end in the next few days. Maybe the Knicks one goes a little longer. I'm hoping that OKC punches their tickets to the finals, and maybe we do a finals look ahead, even though regardless of what happens in these series, the NBA the NBA finals are not going to start until June 5th, next Thursday. So schedule's going to be a little bit erratic and irregular through the rest of the NBA season, but I will make sure that I try and get it out as much as possible. And if you're late to a show, I mean, a lot of these lines are consensus and not moving nearly as much and a lot sharper. So I don't think it's as big of a deal as missing a show during the regular season where we're scooping a lot of good lines. Tyrese Murray says, my guy Fiddle. Tyrese, we were calling you the GOAT Tyrese for most of the year. I don't think so anymore after last night. Magic says the Knicks and Pacers over 100 points and plus 10. Oh, the Knicks and Pacers to each score 100 points and Knicks plus 10. Okay, we can get to that when we go through the Knicks, but please don't play that. Peasy says Knicks suck. Fat McScoop says Fiddle in the house. You're okay. Let's keep going through the rest of this card with the Indiana Pacers going to the New York Knicks, a line at -5, a line that has already seen some bouncing, some settling, and some sharpness form. Now, I want to say, yes, I was on the Knicks yesterday. Yesterday was the first time throughout the entire playoffs that I bet against the Pacers with a minus CLV ticket. The name of the game, the reason why people watch the show and the reason why people enjoy the show and the reason why people learn from the show and the reason why people make money from the show is because the point that I drive home the most is that nothing else matters besides beating the closing line with supreme consistency. And so every time, the only thing I care about, no opinions, don't bet my opinions. You know, I could have a thought or two, but that's not the angle which I'm betting into. It is numbers based. It is read up the market. It is model. It is both bottom up and top down combined. And then we get to the spots where yesterday was the first time all playoffs that I had bet against the Pacers and ended up having a minus CLV ticket. And you want to know what? Betting on the Knicks was a bad idea yesterday. That was bad process. That was a bad ticket, and I should have bet on the Pacers. The Pacers were the plus CLV sharp side that ended up winning, like so many other things that we bet into, like so much of what the philosophy is, like the reason why there's over 150 people here watching right now, trying to get into the next line that gets ahead of the close. If you beat the closing line with supreme consistency, you will beat the books, right? Like there are situations where maybe you gain a little bit of closing line value. Maybe you gain half a point in the total. That's not enough technically to be plus EV. So maybe it's break even long term. But if you beat closing lines, you are a winning sports bettor. It is really hard to fluff that in a large sample size. And so that is the only thing I care about doing. And so yesterday, absolutely, I should have been on the Pacers. The market said Pacers are going to win this game, and they did. So bad bet by me for being on the Knicks. Yesterday was still a good day, you know, plus 0.61 units across my bets, a 13% return on investment on my ROI gained from yesterday compared to bets placed. It was the third straight winning day, but if I had not had a bad process ticket on the Knicks, it would have been even better. So, yes, yesterday was good. Yes, betting on the Knicks was bad. Yes, the Pacers should have been the right side. Yes, Tyrese Halliburton fucking balled out. I mean, that game was the 0 turnovers component is just nasty work. Like that is some insane level shit. Jay Duke says, what's going on? Caitlin Clark is out and the line is moving up on the Indiana Fever. That's good eyes for Jay Dukes on the WNBA market. But let's talk about this Pacers-Knicks game 5 back at the Garden. Like I said, bouncing numbers all the way around. We opened at 5.5. We got pushed down to 4.5. We are back here at 5. Total 222.5. I think it's the perfect number. We've seen under action come the last few games. We saw that hit the resistance point and get as low as it possibly has at 219 and get fly towards the over. So the same way I would have said yesterday about Pacers Knicks, if you asked me late before tip, I would have said, like, yeah, you're paying a major premium for an under now. Like, you're buying in at the lowest possible price. That is really difficult to do. So I would have said, yeah, you only look the other way. Same with OKC. Like, at this point, you only look the other way. So now it's gone back up a few points from yesterday's close at 219. It sits in the middle of the closes between 219 and 224.5 with this line at 222.5. And I think that's an incredibly sharp total, both spread and total points. And I think, like, listen, we were Knicks minus 4.5 for game 1. We were Knicks minus 6 for game 2. Disappear. Okay, we're back. So I think the price is right. I've seen some sharp people early on Knicks money line. I have not bet it yet. My one bet on the card is not in the NBA markets. It is in the WNBA. So that's where we will switch over. I am definitely going to continue to monitor this game, but this looks as unplayable as it's come these playoffs. I mean, I think the spread and the total are bang on spot on. And what do we say when a number is bang on spot on? It is a reflection of true odds, 50-50 on each side, and betting into any 50-50 with a minus 110. Sure, you might get it right on a one-off. It might go over or under 222.5. It will. And you might have the correlated side that matches. But doing that consistently is overall a losing effort. It is a losing long-term proposition to be taking 50-50 lines, really not even understanding which side is directionally correct right now, and trying to beat that. So I don't even see myself betting this Knicks Pacers for game 5 back in New York, spread or total. Maybe some props come up, but right now it's I'm looking OKC, I'm looking OKC money line, and I'm looking under in that game in all separate tickets as straight bets. Shall we go over to the W? Ian? Bless me, bless my bets. I had to position my fingers not on the screen to hold up the W. Can't just do it on my own. My fingers are not flexible enough. I have to wiggle them together to throw up the W. But let's talk about some WNBA. Yesterday was an electric day in the WNBA. Welcome back, Kayla McBride. Not Indiana Fever. Minnesota Lynx go to what? 5-0, 5-0 on the season. Nafisa Collier looks like she's the MVP, and if Caitlin Clark is going to miss time, she's going to continue to run away with it. The New York Liberty dominate the Golden State Valkyries. Put the smack down on it. Had to make up for that lackluster Knicks effort. And they get it done as well. Cover, under hits, strong game from New York, moves to 5-0. We also saw the Dallas Wings with a Paige buckets, over 20 points, over 5 rebounds, over 5 assists. I remember that was in the Paige buckets specials market. Will she have a 25-5 game any game this regular season? We're 5 games in. She's cashed that ticket already. The other one that I want to speak about from yesterday quickly. I mean, my God, the Phoenix Mercury. Woo! This team is dogs. This team has so much fight. The guy, Nate Tibbetts, who's the Mercury coach, actually reminds me a lot of Tibbs. Like, I know it's the Tibbetts-Tibbs connection, so it's an easy one wordplay to make. But the amount of grit and defensive toughness that this guy preaches, it's actually... like, it's a strong WNBA coaching philosophy because, like, a lot of that defensive pressure can really throw off an opponent. And then you have to also consider, like, the team that he has this year, you lose Griner who I don't think can play that ferocious, tenacious defense. Like, I don't think she has that energy and that, dexterity, that ability to move like that. Taurasi, I don't think a brand new coach, because this Tippett's first year was last year. This is Tippett's second season at the helm of the Mercury. Taurasi last season. I don't think that Tibbetts was getting Taurasi to go balls to the wall as she's 40 plus and the greatest player of all time, ending her career. So it was a wrong team. And then you flop out those two for Alyssa Thomas, dog, and Satu Sabali, dog. And you get to this point where, like, yeah, this team is in third place in the W, is 4-1 to start the season, has had some strong comeback wins, shows a lot of resiliency and fight, has some shooters to flank, is even missing Natasha Mack and Kalia Copper, which can only add some depth, scoring, defense, and another element to this team. Watch out for the Phoenix Mercury. I couldn't be more excited that the Phoenix Mercury were the team that I pushed the chips in a little bit prior to the season and backed their over team total, win total, make the playoffs. Yes, an MVP candidate, a defensive player of the year candidate. So loving what I'm seeing out of the Phoenix Mercury this season. Yesterday was the first Phoenix Mercury game where I lost a bet because I was on the under and it went over. But overall, a good day yesterday. Let's talk about the Indiana Fever taking on the Washington Mystics. As Jay Duke said, what is going on? Caitlin Clark is out for this game. She suffered a quad injury, I believe it is being diagnosed as. She was reportedly dealing with these quad injuries even in preseason and training camp. And like, I think it just maybe flared up on her and they're giving her some time to rest, but who knows? I hope that she gets back on the court in the next 2 weeks. I'll have to look at what the qualifications are for games missed to still count as WNBA statistical category leaders, because I had a great number on Caitlin Clark to lead the W in assists for the season. So I'm hoping that she doesn't miss too much time and she still qualifies. But as of now, when they said a 2-week timetable, there was 4 games on the Indiana Fever schedule that it was pretty assumed she would miss. So here is game 1 against the Washington Mystics. Let's talk a little bit about Fever. Like, I really don't know how to forecast this team without Caitlin Clark. This is atypical to you losing just a star. This is losing your highest usage player. And like, I haven't seen the numbers, but like, perhaps the highest usage player in the entire WNBA. This kind of reminds me of, like, I was trying to think of an NBA parallel. Like, if X team lost Y player, what would it be akin to in China? See the flip. And I think the best example was Trae Young on the Hawks. And just like, how does the offense run through? Is it Kelsey Mitchell? Is it bringing in a backup point guard? Are they suddenly very defensive and playing Lexi Hull as the 2 guard and bringing her into the starting lineup and bringing down Kelsey Mitchell to start at the point guard? How are they going to redistribute? Are they suddenly going to become a pretty tenacious defensive team? Like, are they going to build up a defensive identity without Caitlin Clark? Because, I mean, the total dropped. It was at 158 earlier. I mean, it's up to 163 now. There's only so much pace you could take out of the Fever at this point. But I mean, if Caitlin were playing, it's 10 points higher. So that's like the biggest adjustment I've seen for sure. We're definitely seeing some overaction on this total, but I would say buying into it now once it's moved like 5 points, not smart. But we have seen some Indiana money come back into the market. We have seen some over money come into the market. I understand both of those things also from the context of Washington Mystics. That's really what's important to talk about. The Washington Mystics have been one of the teams most consistently faded by the sharp market. And so it seems almost every game there's action against the Mystics. So this might be a combo, little bit of backing the Fever, a little bit of, fading the Mystics. You could throw it to like, okay, team loses their star player for first game. Do they have a bounce back, laser focused effort game? I think that question is really hard as it relates to Caitlin, because I don't know how much the roles are defined when Caitlin leaves the lineup. Right? I think everything kind of goes into flux because the whole team is super built around her. So I don't know if the team's going to look very fluid without Caitlin being in the lineup right away. They're going to bring this like very big fight effort. The Washington Mystics, while they've been faded, they've been impressive to me. The one bet that I do have on the card, Washington Mystics guard Brittany Sykes over on her points, rebounds, and assists. I am going to pull the odds for that up right now and look across the board and let you know where that is. But I have really liked what I've seen out of a healthy Brittany Sykes entering the season. She only played 18 games last year, and she only averaged 23 minutes is what I think I saw last night when I was looking at the stats. She's now playing 35 minutes, and she's the lead scorer for this team. And so she's the usage is absolutely popped. So I do think we look over on some Sykes numbers in the and bless my bets. Bless Brittany Sykes over PRA. That's now 26.5 minus 130 at DraftKings. I got 25.5 minus 115 yesterday. 26.5 minus 125 at Bet365. I would say those are actually still playable. 26.5 minus 125 or minus 130 at DraftKings. I thought the number that I got yesterday was fantastic. And obviously this has moved not only 1 point, but also 10 to 15 cents on the VIG further as well. So that's, like a 40-cent shift. That's a big shift for this market. However, I still do like it. And I still do like to see that correlated over move up all the way up to 163, I think is what we just saw it in the total. Yes. The other thing that I do like on the Sykes front is her over 3-pointers, 1.5 plus 130 at BetMGM. So if you have DraftKings, Bet365, Caesars, or BetMGM, I think you have a play here. Brittany Sykes over 26.5 PRA at DraftKings and Bet365, and the over 3-pointers at Caesars and MGM. Caesars plus 120, MGM plus 130. We are looking to back Brittany Sykes today. Oh, Ian just messaged me privately and says it's now 28.5. Damn. We will see if the numbers update on the screen very soon. But yeah, let's look to that. If you do have the 28.5 on Sykes, look if the plus 125 is there at Caesars, because that would be an appropriate way to play it, even if it's gone really far. All right, we did get a few WNBA games priced come up late last night and this morning. FanDuel was the first place to put them on market late last night. We still don't have many places with them up right now. DraftKings has these games. Bet365 has these games. Fanatics has these games. Caesars is starting to put up these games. Okay, let's go over them. We do have it enough across the market. Last night, it was just FanDuel that put up the first lines on these, and yeah, we could go through it. We have the Liberty back at home against the Valkyrie. This is a repeat matchup of what we saw yesterday. Liberty would win by 28. I get 5-0. It really might be the best WNBA team I've ever seen. They're probably going to be better than 33-11 this year. They are unbelievable. Do I think they maintain a 75% or a win or better win percentage on the season? Yeah, I really do. They're that good. I don't know what team they're going to be underdogs to. Maybe Aces at Aces, but we already saw them as maybe Lynx at Lynx. So maybe there's 4 games in which they're underdogs all season. I mean, that's crazy. This team is so good. They won by 28 yesterday. They destroyed Golden State. Anyways, yesterday closed at 18.5. It is reopened right there. No surprise, no action for me. Always play back numbers in these repeat matchups to where they were in the previous game. If anything, Valkyries do a little better in the second effort, but I'm not fading this Liberty team with the Valkyries. Maybe if it was Lynx in a repeat matchup, sure. The over-under 164.5, I would only look back towards the under. Valkyries really couldn't score. Liberty scored 95 points. And so they put up a ridiculous effort. Valkyries scored sub 70. So I think you might want to look towards the under again. I believe yesterday's game closed 162.5 and landed at 162. So a little bit of repricing back towards the over. But I think that game might go back down 2 points again and close right back at 162.5. No plays for me there yet, but that would be what I'm looking at. Dallas Wings is also a side that I'm considering. I really might sneeze again for a third time. I do like the Dallas Wings. I would really like them at -3. So I'm hoping that we find some Dallas Wings -3 showing up at other spots. In fact, when I looked this morning, right before we were coming live, it wasn't open anywhere else besides, it's just starting to come online a few other places, and it is coming out of this 3.5. So I'm going to just keep waiting on this market. We have seen a little bit of movement towards the Dallas Wings. FanDuel opened it at 1.5. They moved it out to 3. That 3 didn't last long. It moved out to 3.5. That's what I'm seeing based on the line history and the overnight action. Chicago Sky fucking suck. Let that one sink in. They're horrendous. Like, horrendous. Them, Valkyries, Connecticut Sun. I mean, you can make an all-star lineup out of them, out of Sky, Valkyries, and Connecticut Sun. Put the best possible team you could put together. 13-point dogs versus Liberty. Like, I don't even think you like seriously. I see Ian cracking up in the background. Ian, let's do that as a thought exercise. Let's put together an all-star team from the few worst teams, and let's see. All right, would this team be actually favored against even the Seattle Storm? Would this team even be favored against the Phoenix Mercury? Like, it is tough against the Liberty. No, I guarantee, and that's not even Charles Barkley. I guarantee when you hear Charles Barkley guarantee something on an TV broadcast, there's nothing worse than Charles Barkley guaranteeing the bet side that you have. Or actually, you know what's worse than Charles Barkley guarantee? When Mike Breen yells, "Bang! It's tie game!" and it's going against your bet, it is miserable. I remember I was on some OKC stuff and Minnesota started to come back, and it's like, bang, bang, Minnesota ties the game. I'm like, Breen, shut your mouth. I don't want to hear it. But yeah, let's look towards Dallas Wings, Chicago Sky. I'm looking for Wings, and I hope we get a 3. If not, I might play a money line if we get a good price. Wings are becoming an over team. That's for damn sure. Wings are becoming an over team, as are the Atlanta Dream. That's something I'm noticing. We'll talk about the Atlanta Dream next time they have an odds priced. So this price might go up, but again, Chicago Sky are not the team that I would say is going to consistently put up a lot of points. So despite them doing it yesterday against the Mercury Sky game was very high scoring yesterday to my surprise. I do think this total's probably pretty great on the number, and I do think it's maybe a wing spot. It might be a Buffalo Wild Wings type of night. Does that make sense? We good? Should we roll through some comments and questions? Should we hit on? We hit the WHOP bet. Brittany Sykes over 25.5. Easy. Quickly show. We don't even have it. We're good. There it is. You can see it right there. Comments and questions. Let me go through the comments. Bunch of stuff coming in. Tyrese commenting a lot of stuff. Thomas, let's get it today. Fiddle, cashing my West winner tonight. I would love the Thunder to get home tonight. Let's please get the Thunder to the NBA Finals. Why? Because we're betting. I mean, I haven't bet yet, but I have Thunder futures. I would only bet Thunder if I do bet this game. So if Wolves win, that's potentially a losing ticket and a sweatier future. I don't think I'm looking for additional games in the series for opportunities. I think I'm good. Let's get on. Let's get this team to the finals. If BetMGM, let's check this real quick. If BetMGM still has the NBA future up of Thunder to win the NBA Finals at -375, that is a no-brainer. No, it is gone. I was literally going to say you play that at another 50 cents to -425. DraftKings has a minus 380 for the Thunder to win the title. And I genuinely think that's probably a pretty good bet because as long as they don't lose 3 in a row, they're going to be a minus 600 in the finals. They're going to be minus 575 against the Pacers. Like, yeah, I think so. Minus 600 would be my guess. Tyrese says, Halliburton is officially better than Brunson. I held out as long as I could. I think we have to give it to Halliburton too. I mean, WWE style. King of the court style. That is so funny. I kicked myself out of the studio, and there wasn't even Drew here to hold it down. Halliburton officially better than Brunson. I held out as long as I could. I agree. I think that's it in terms of going over comments. That is hilarious that I just kicked myself out of the studio. I see Ian again cracking up in the background. Thank you to everyone for being here again. Brittany Sykes over 25.5. Playable up to 28.5 plus 125 at Caesars. Nothing across the NBA card as of now. Come join our WHOP chat if you want access to the NBA bets as I give them out in real time. There might be some things that do come. Please do me a favor and like the show if you're watching this on YouTube or on Twitter. I got to do the one shot for bet stamp. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. There weren't really many bets. I always forget to do the bet stamp segment. And then we get out of here. I'm going to check the W long shots. There's really not much. I mean, these markets are so sharp and we barely have any games, and the prop markets for the next few days in the W haven't come up yet. So it's only the prop market for, let me see if I expand it. Yeah, okay. We're not going to do the bet stamp because the odds are just so thin right now that it really doesn't offer a great opportunity. Okay, thank you to Ian in the back. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Go Brittany Sykes. I will likely be back on Friday. Now, I know today wasn't that much help. I mean, hopefully we walk through these odds, but this is a really thin card. And so don't need to force anything. I'm a high volume bettor with 1/4 unit bet on the card tonight. That's not how I like it. I like to put chips on the table and try and let them come home with some friends. But it's not worth forcing into sharp markets where, again, you're mainly picking up minus EV tickets. Not that many spots where we could play into rest advantages, travel disadvantages, a lot of things that we pick up as tricks, grab closing line value in some of these spots. So, again, tough sledding out there. Good luck to all of you on your bets. We'll be back on Friday, hopefully previewing the NBA Finals and talking through 5 WNBA games that are Friday afternoon. So, yeah, I will be doing a show on Friday because at least we'll talk about what's going on in the NBA. There's either more Knicks games or there's more Thunder games or there's a finals matchup that we have previewed and priced, as well as 5 WNBA games. So I will see you guys on Friday. Some words from Patrick Beverly. Peace out.
Y'all subscribe to my podcast while y'all asking all these questions. Don't forget to subscribe to the pod. And if you're a kid, listen to your parents. Listen to your parents.
Listen to your parents.
Subscribe to the pod. Subscribe.
Subscribe to the pod. Subscribe to the pod. Subscribe to the pod, man. Good, those are good.